Can you remember waking up this morning? That very first moment when you came out of the sleeping state and opened your eyes? Well, that's exactly how Atum rose out of Nu on the primordial mound. On the human scale, that's you, the microcosmos rising up like Atum on your primordial mound. In the last video, we looked at Nu, which can represent the dream state for man. But once Atum appears, your waking life begins outside of space and time, which Atum has not created yet. So try to remember that very first moment of your day. Maybe parts of your dream are still being replayed, but you're not yet aware of being in your bed or what time it is. It's even clearer when you're away from home and sleeping in a different bed in a different room. And it'll take a second or two for your mind to figure out just where you are as Shu and Tefnut appear. Then you become aware of your physical body and its needs. So you'll either turn over or get up and go to the bathroom, Geb and Nut. In the myth, Atum first appeared in Iunu, the place where I am emerged from the Nu. Iunu was sacred to Atum, but also to Ra, without whom he could not have emerged from those waters of oblivion. Indeed, their relationship is so close that he's often called Atum Ra and depicted with a solar disk on top of his head. Ra is the cosmic principle of love that later civilizations called God, and the hieroglyph for Ra clearly demonstrates the relationship between these two netters. Let's start with the black screen. That's Nu. Nothing is manifested yet until, boom, a dot appears, formed by the compass point, and that's Atum. Then a circle is scribed by turning the compass around, and that's the manifest creation. And together they form the hieroglyph for Ra, who is the dot, the circle, and everything in between. That tiny dot right in the center represents Atum, whose name survives in English as atom, the tiniest particle we can know of. It stems from the Greek atomos, meaning indivisible or something that cannot be divided. And despite its microscopic size, when an atom is split, it releases a massive amount of energy known as an atomic explosion. And remember that the hieroglyph for the word netta is an axe, which serves to split wood. Atum holds the title Lord of Totality, and in the myth he is heralded as the father of all that exists. Because everything is made of atoms, therefore it's literally made of his own flesh. This title also points to his great-grandson Osiris and the realm of cyclical nature, because when the created entities are broken down and ashes return to ashes and dust to dust, it becomes clear that from the beginning, everything in existence was, in fact, Atum in countless trillions of different atomic configurations. Modern science confirms that what we think of as solid matter is in fact a series of atoms that are held together in a structured form, but they do not actually touch each other, and therefore they remain independent as monads which is the very essence of Atum. The ancient sages created the netters as a family unit to make it easier for people to relate to them. And after Atum emerged from Nu, all of the successive netters are his children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, the numbers 2 through 9. Now, one of the greatest values in the family tradition is reverence for the ancestors, and therefore the attention would always return to Atum as the grandfather of all that is in the manifest realm. In terms of reverence, often mistakenly called worship, to honor your father is to honor Atum, and to honor your mother would be to honor Nu, as she gave birth to Atum. As ever in the temple teaching, the name of a thing holds the main keys to unlock its true meaning. And the name of Atum is written with 2 hieroglyphs. A half circle pronounced T and a sled pronounced Tum. I've already spoken a lot about the half circle in other videos, whose arc scribes the path of Ra above the surface of the earth, symbolizing the creation of the manifest realm. And in ancient times, the entire population was very familiar with the hieroglyph for Ra, or God. So they could immediately recognize it as half of that symbol. And placing this half circle at the beginning of his name serves as a reminder that it was Atum who created the first scission from the divine unity of Ra. The Nile was the principal form of transport in Egypt. However, to move heavy items across land, a sled was used. Those of us from northern climates think of it for riding through snow, but many reliefs show it being used to move large statues. And some of these even have a sled carved below their feet. The sled represents the ability to move forward on a straight, linear path. So read together, Atum's name can be read as the creative thrust forward in the manifest realm. Atum is most often shown as a male figure wearing the double crown, which the ancients called Sekhmeti, or the 2 powerful ones. Sechem is the ultimate power, and the letter T means contained in, while the 2 eyes refer to Seth and Horus. But rather than a union between the 2, as in the Sma-Tui hieroglyph, this crown represents the state of unity before any scission has occurred. Here I must mention that everything in sacred art is coded in symbolism. Therefore, the crowns worn by the king or the netter are purely symbolic of the state or role they are playing at a given moment, because the crown or headdress cuts across the forehead exactly at the level of the pineal gland or third eye. Therefore, the upper portion of the head, where the thinking brain is located, has been given over to a higher power, which the specific crown represents. The double crown, like all other crowns in Egypt, only exist in sculpture and painting, and no actual crowns have ever been found. So those are some of Atum's functions in the human and worldly levels. And please join me for part 2, where we'll look at some of his more metaphysical aspects. And as ever, when you enjoyed today's presentation, please click the like and subscribe buttons. And you can also support the channel through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description below, where you can also leave any comments or questions that I'll be glad to answer. and look forward to seeing you in part 2.